Hey YouTube, welcome back. Today we have a new problem number 15, threesome. Given an integer array called nums, return all the triples, nums of I, nums of j, and nums of k, such as I doesn't equal j, and I doesn't equal k, and j doesn't equal k. And nums of I plus nums of j plus nums of k equals 0. Notice that the solution set must not contain duplicate triples. Okay, so we have nums here. We return the array first. We have this one, it's add to 0, and this one add to 0. And this one also add to 0 as well. So a way to solve this problem is there is multiple ways, but what comes to my mind is to use like a 2-pointer. Like for example, we loop through each element, and from each element, since it's a triple, we use 2 pointers to see if we can find any additional 2 numbers that could add up to 0 when we have this this element. So I guess the time complexity, it will be O of n squared. It's not the best solution, but yeah, let's just see. First, I guess we should sort. So basically here we first sort the input array nums in ascending order using the sort method with a custom operator function to ensure that the array is non-decreasing order, because this will help us a lot. So it will be A and B and A minus B, and we will have res array that will be store all of our triple numbers, and I will return it in the end. And I will loop through the nums. Let I equals 0, I less than nums.length, and also nums of I is should be smaller than or equal 0, and I plus plus. We here do like if I equals 0 or nums of I minus 1 doesn't equal nums of I, we try to run a function. This function right now, we have nums of I, we have 1 pointer, we have 1 element, and we should have 3 elements. So we could create another function that we could call like function twosome. This is responsible to find the other 2 elements. Like for each I we have 1, and we want to find the other 2s. Nums and I and res. Okay, so I will run the twosome function, and I will give it nums and I and res. And let's just start from here. So I will try to create my first pointer. So it will be let low, and it will equals I plus 1. And I'll say let high will equals nums dot length minus 1. And I'll create a while loop. It will be while low less than high. And I will say, okay, const sum equals nums of I plus nums of low plus nums of high. And if the nums is less than 0, because we sorted the array, we know the smallest value is in the left, which will which is stored in low, and the biggest value on high. So if nums is less than 0, I will add 1 to low. Okay. Else, if sum bigger than 0, I will take 1 from high. Else, that means if sum not nums, sum, sorry, sum. So else it will be res dot push nums of I and nums of low but plus and nums of high but with minus after that, like we minus after that it. And I would say while low is less than high and nums of low equals nums of low minus 1, low should be plus. And I guess that's it. Let's run and see if it will work. Yeah, it worked. Let's submit if see it's we got yeah, it did work. Okay, so let's see how this works. Let's just try to discuss it first. So first of all, we have the 3sum. The 3sum function takes an array of integers called nums as input and returns a list of unique triple the sum up to 0. Okay, so first sorts the input array called with nums in ascending order using the sort method with a custom comparator function to ensure that the array is in non-decreasing order. 3, we initialize an empty res. We initialize an empty res to store the resulting triple. 4, the code iterates through the sorted array nums, checking for each number, which is numbers of I, that is less than or equal to 0. Less than or equal to 0. This is because for 3 numbers to add up to 0, there must be a negative number in that triple. Okay, so we just try to find any number that is less than or equal to 0, because as you can see, if we have 3 numbers should be add up to 0, they should have at least one number that is less than or equal to 0. After that, the loop checks. After that, the loop within the loop it checks whether the current numbers, which is nums of I, is in the first occurrence in the sorted array or not. If it's in the first occurrence, or if I is 0, it calls the sum function to find the pairs that sum up to minus nums of I. We have the toSum here. The toSum function is responsible for finding pairs within the subarray, which is nums of I plus 1, and that sum up to minus nums of I. It uses 2 pointers, which is low and high, within initially a point the beginning and end of the subarray respectively. Within the toSum, functions loop, it calculates the sum of the three numbers, as you can see here. Depending on the sum, it adjusts the pointers. If the sum is less than 0, it increment low to move towards a larger sum. If the sum is greater than 0, it decrement high to move towards a smaller sum. If sum equals to 0, it adds the triple nums of I and nums of low and nums of high to the res subarray increment, to the res subarray, and also we increment low to avoid duplicate triples, and decrement high to avoid that also as well. And after that, the three sum function returns the res array, which it contains two unique that add up to 0. And also we do that to make sure that we make sure that we have a unique triple. So yeah. So that's it for today's video. That's it for my description. If you like my content, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you'll never miss a video, and see you in future problems.